Alright, so today we got some pretty exciting news over on Bleach, so Resonant. For starters though, Nelliel is the confirmed next character releasing, and she is going to be a Frost tactic unit. There's kind of a lot to say regarding that, and we're likely going to have to make it a separate video because I do want to specifically talk about that aspect of the character, but we are going to briefly talk about it in today's video and also go over all the news that we did get in today's live stream, because there's a lot of exciting stuff coming our way in less than 3 days time and also in a week's time with the release of Nelliel. Overall, it's a good time to be playing Bleach so Resonant. So with that said, first up, let's talk about Nelliel. So as you'll see here, Nelliel possesses a transformation ability, making her the first character with 3 different forms. In battle, only her adult form and also her Gamyuza Resurrection forms are playable. However, outside of stages, she can transform into a child form, Little Nell, and the Little Nell form will be given for free through an in-game event. So that in of itself is actually really cool. I mean, the Little Nell form is, kind of a big part about Nelliel as a character in the story after what Noritora did to her. So I kind of like the idea that this part of Nelliel is being included in game somehow, some way. Obviously, it would make no sense for this version of Nell to be fighting. We don't need that, but I am still glad they are including the character, at least in this case, during the hub area where you just walk around from mission to mission, right? And this potentially opens the door for other characters to get the same treatment. I'm really not sure what other character we could get, but let's just say a random character, Edrad, for example. Does anyone want him playable? Probably not. But if the dev team doesn't want to waste a new character release on a non-exciting character, but the model is in-game, there's nothing stopping them from just making them be a hub area character, right? And if anything, it does add to the event itself, because as you'll see here, this will be given out for free in an in-game event. So it's potentially something to look forward to and just to get an extra reward for the sake of it. Overall, I really do like the idea of making the, Kid Nell playable in the hub area, and that potentially does open the door for characters that otherwise won't be playable in this game to still be represented in-game, even if it is just in the hub area where you walk around the new maps, for example. Second, let's talk about Nelliel. So again, she is going to be a Frost-type tactic unit. Now, that in of itself might be a little bit disappointing because I know a lot of us wanted her to be a slash character, but from the sound of it, she isn't going to be a character based on a certain typing. Instead, she is going to focus on abnormal status elements. So element damage bonus is what Nelliel is providing for the team. So just like Aizen, to a certain extent, even though she's a bit more restricted, she is technically a universal character. She doesn't care about the typing of the main damage dealer. So despite her being Frost, it doesn't matter. To be fair, she could have easily been a strike character in that case, but she's technically being designed to be used with other element damage characters, so Gin, Kenpachi, and also the eventual Grimmjow, because I believe he can also inflict element damage. And if that is the case, I'm pretty sure that's going to be really good for her and potentially might make her maybe better than Aizen. Maybe not, probably not. But right now, the best damage dealing characters in the game are element damage characters. So again, you're going to have Gin, you're going to have Kenpachi. Pair those two characters, Gin, Kenpachi, Nelliel, for example. You're going to interchange and switch between Kenpachi and Gin depending on the content. And then just throw in Kisuke, and you likely have a very powerful team. And if you do summon Nelliel and you have Gin, you have Kenpachi, and then eventually you have Grimmjow, that pretty much covers you for the technical mono teams, right? If you need a strike character, just use Nell, Kisuke, Grimmjow. If you need a slash character, Nell, Kisuke, Kenpachi. If you need a Frost character, so yeah, overall, I'm pretty excited for Nelliel, and again, we are going to talk about her again separately in a video later today, because there's a lot to say about that. So now let's actually go over the exciting stuff coming our way literally in like 3 days time. And there's kind of a lot to go over here. So first up, we are finally getting our first character rerun. So they don't fully specify who is returning. I would have loved if they elaborated on that, but as of right now, the only confirmed character I believe is Gin, which makes you wonder why Gin is returning, because he is the character that literally just left. But the idea of, Nelliel being an element damage bonus, maybe they now want you to use her with Gin in case you do want Nell and maybe skipped out on Gin. If you do want Nell, Kenpachi is currently available right now, so you have her go-to damage dealers to go with her. For all we know, other characters could be returning at the same time. For all we know, all 4 limited characters, Aizen, Toshiro, Ichigo, Gin, could be returning. They didn't clarify what character is returning besides briefly mentioning Gin. So as of right now, take it as confirmation that Gin is returning, but there potentially could be other characters returning too. We just don't really know. Secondly, completing all event rewards, again on the 13th, will give you 50 limited character summon tickets and 20 standard character summon tickets. Really, really cool stuff. Overall, looking forward to that. This is super generous, and you might be wondering, why are they being generous? Because it's just a random week in February. But remember, this is for Chinese New Year, so this is supposed to be a big deal. And I guess years from now, or as we go into the next year, right, we can always expect a big event around now for Chinese New Year, during November for anniversary, and then, you know, let's say 4 months from now, 3 months from now for the half anniversary. Those are probably going to be the 3 big dates and the time the game is going to go all out and be super generous. And right now, one of their ways of being generous is 50 limited character summon tickets. And if that wasn't all, we're also potentially getting upwards to 7,000 Spirit Jades. So super generous. Super generous. This outright pretty much confirms that you can summon Nelliel. And if you don't want Nelliel, you can just save those for the next available character, or you can summon for Kenpachi right now, knowing that you're going to have plenty of summons coming your way for Nelliel. So really cool stuff. Glad to see this game just being super free-to-play friendly. Next, we are going to be getting a large number of stamp keys, and specifically 30 stamp Nexus items, which is really, really good. We do need 30 to max 6-star your gear for one character. And while I am perfectly content with the current state of the game, I think there's a lot of good things the game is doing. I think one thing that does need to change, one thing they need to start addressing, and this might be them addressing it right now pretty much, is the stamp system, but again, specifically the 6-starring, right? So it does take 10 to re-roll, or more so to 6-star apiece, and these buffs are very, very good. But then with that, they can actually get better from an extra level skill. So if we use the one I have, for example, so I have this one right here that gives a 30% special attack damage bonus. When you re-roll it, you can get any other passive effect, but if you get the exact same one again, it does increase the level, and this can get super high. But the chance of getting this is super low, and also requires so many stamp Nexus items that I don't think it's ever worth re-rolling a character's roll. You just take what you get and move on to the next character, assuming you're trying to keep up with every new character release. Personally, I am, and I don't really have any stamp Nexus items to use to re-roll my pieces, because I always have to use it on the new characters, because they make a big difference. If they don't have 6-star gear, their damage output is going to be lacking. So while, of course, I do love some free summons, I also am someone that has plenty of summons to do, right? Never going to say no to it, but I'm actually maybe more excited for these stamp Nexus items, because that allows me to, you know, work on my characters. Secondly, starting on the 13th of February, participating in the core stamp event allows you to obtain self-selectable standard SSR character core stamps ×2. So you're getting 2 of those, 2 selectable core stamps, overall pretty good. And while it's not mentioned here, we do know that we are going to be getting, you know, again, that selectable SSR character of the standard pool. So Kisuke, Yoruichi, Byakuya, Sergeant, and Kaname. So perfect time to start playing the game, right? You can get a character, and you can also get that core stamp for free. Really cool stuff. When it comes to spending money on this game, on the Spirit Jades, when you buy a particular pack for the very first time, you do get a bonus, so you get double. And surprisingly, that is already resetting. So if you are someone that wants to spend big money on this game, now is a good time to do it, right? Maybe you want to buy all the packs and then let it reset, and then you can buy it again and get even more bang for your buck. Of course, you don't have to do that, but those that are planning to spend money on the game, now is probably the time to do it, right? Next, we are getting a new map, specifically Hueco Mundo, new bosses, new challenge events, and new permanent game modes. I'm not sure if this is coming out on the 13th. I don't think there's a release date for this, but that is coming very soon, so that's something to look forward to. And then with that, we also have a few more things to talk about. So again, shout out to Square Advisor for translating all this. But firstly, the newly added bonds that you were able to get through past events can be obtained through the dispatch section. This isn't really new news. It's currently already in the game, but it's just a reminder, right? If you did miss out on the Toshiro set, the Aizen set, and the Gin set, you can actually get them through this. You have to get lucky though, but it's a way to obtain them. I believe that certain players were asking for a increased weekly rewards cap, I believe in Frenzy Feast, and as of right now, that has no plans to be changed. Interestingly enough, whether a character receives a buff requires review and approval from the copyright holder, so in this case, Shueisha. And likely the context of this is why maybe Bankai Ichigo hasn't been buffed yet. It needs to be approved. But that also makes you wonder how the hell they got Kenpachi's buffs out in just 3 days. if it had to get approved by the team itself. But maybe Shueisha saw that Kenpachi was kind of mid, so they're like, yeah, buff him real quick. Buff him real quick. They do confirm Vasto Lord Ichigo, Full Hollow Ichigo, will be releasing it later this year. I mean, this is not like crazy news. It kind of is at the same time. It's nice to see it, but we all know he's releasing this year. That's a given, right? It's Full Hollow Ichigo. We're getting to that part in the story. Right now, the speculation, just based on the fact that it is a super hype character, is that maybe he'll release in around 4 months' time for the half-year celebration. I doubt they're going to long him out and be a 1-year Annie character. That's a bit long, but maybe they will do that. And then speaking of that, the official game's character roadmap is already planned until 2028, so there's no need to worry about an early shutdown of the game. I mean, you don't need to worry regardless of the roadmap, right? We already know the game's doing super good right now. Outside of the, Shueisha IP issues, hopefully isn't holding the game back too much. But right now, the game's just doing a lot of great things. And it's good to know that they have a plan up until 2028. This is kind of standard game development stuff. When you are developing character, you do have to plan in advance. Using Brave Souls as an example, I believe they probably plan up to a year ahead of time, but they start working on characters 6 months in advance and have them ready months before. But kind of similar to the Vasto Lord Ichigo line, it's kind of just nice knowing that confirmed, right? And it now makes you think what character is coming out next, when is a certain character coming out, who do they have planned for the 1-year anniversary? Because technically, they already have it planned. Technically, they have the 2nd anniversary planned. What's going on? Either way, that's pretty much all the news that we did get. So Nelliel is going to be a thrust tactic unit, but not designed for thrust teams. But instead, she wants to be used with element damage characters. So that's actually pretty cool and does open her up for, plenty of usages in other teams. And then we just have a lot of freebies, man. It's absolutely insane. Bleach Soul Resonance right now is the gift that keeps on gifting. And let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the news that we did get today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.